What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of VintageCraft Season 2 from the VintageCraft server. We're going to play some more Minecraft today. So we got the camp built up in the last episode here and got, just some basic supplies set up. So in between episodes, I did a decent amount of mining and material collecting. I've been doing a bunch of manual fishing. None of that AFK stuff, but been doing a bunch of fishing and got some cool stuff from that. We got rocking some gold armor again. I found some mending books and stuff like that. I put on my chest plate here. I actually think I found this one from a zombie spawner that Zobi had that I was borrowing. We got ourselves a looting sword. We've got a little bit of a better axe. I did manage to get a Fortune 3 pickaxe and put another mending book that I had found on there. So we can get lots of extra diamonds and stuff like that. And we got a pretty decent bow here that I put together from fishing. And then we've been using this fishing rod here that we actually fished up this rod originally. So we've got quite a bit of stuff collected up. Got us off to a pretty good start. And now we can get into doing some more stuff. So today what we're going to do is I have been working with Wagzal and ISO a little bit off camera on some of their live streams. Don't forget to go check them out at twitch.tv/Wagzal if you want to see what they've been up to. But we've been working on a little bit of an island off in the distance there that we were kind of teaming up on. We decided to become base buddies for this season. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to head over there and show you guys around on the new island, kind of get you up to speed on what's going on, and then we're going to start a new project over there. Alright, so here we are at our new little island here that I'm sharing with ISO and Wags, and possibly a few others. I know Harmony was helping us out a little bit, get things set up. So right now up at the surface here, we just got some basic crops and things going on. We had a little chest here. We call it the death chest because we had a little bit of an incident with some phantoms, actually a lot of phantoms. Oh, Harmony's actually online right now, look at that. So yeah, we just got some basic farms and stuff up here. We were just getting going. We got a ton of resources here that we've been digging out, all kinds of stuff. Brought over some diamonds, a few books and some other stuff, like I said, from fishing before. We've been doing a bunch of manual fishing, like I said. So we got a bunch of food, some wood, all kinds of good stuff like that. Smelting up some kelp in here. We got a little bit of an enchanting table. We got to try to work on getting that expanded out. But also one of the things that I was fishing for the most is this beautiful conduit right here. So this thing is pretty awesome. Took quite a while actually to fish up all the nautilus shells and the heart of the sea to get that thing going, but it's totally worth it. Now you can see the best part about this island is we got all these super awesome ravines that are going like right through the bottom of this island. So really cool. Have ravines going through that side. I think there's some more over on this other side over here. There's a lot of really neat like underwater caves that are all flooded and these different ravines and stuff. So really want to take advantage of this aquatic update now that we're in 1.13.2 and do some cool stuff with the water. So we also got the basic starter point we have is down below. So we're kind of starting to work from the inside of this island, and then we're going to work our way around to the outsides of the caves and stuff like that. I will respond to Harmony in just a minute there. And yeah, so we're kind of working down in here. We'll get down to the bottom here and show you guys kind of what's going on. We've been, well, I guess Wags and ISO, and I don't know if Harmony helped do the digging or not, but they've dug out this cool area here, which is basically going to be our central room. We're kind of working on putting in a aquarium floor with a kind of like a glass floor. And then this centerpiece here is going to be a giant aquarium that goes all the way up to the top. And let's see if I can go, show you guys over this way. So right there you can see the glass there. There's actually the ravine cuts right through behind there. So we're planning on covering or opening this whole wall up and making it all glass so you can see through that. So as you've noticed, if you've been paying attention, I've said glass a lot of times in the last few couple minutes here. So we're going to need a lot of glass. So Wags and ISO have done a bunch of sand mining. but obviously we got to smelt that sand down into glass in order to turn it into glass. So that's going to be the project that I'm going to work on today. I'm going to work on building up a smeltery. So we want to do kind of a big super smelter, or smelting factory, whatever you want to call it. We want to smelt a lot of items. We want to do it quickly. So that's the project we're going to start on today. And I'm going to use some of the kelp that we've been collecting. There's lots of kelp around, and we're actually going to create kind of a dual farm here. So it's going to be a kelp farm that feeds into the furnace array, and we're going to use that kelp as fuel as well, so that we don't have to go gather, a ton of coal or lava or that kind of stuff. So we're going to take advantage of some of the new stuff, like I said, with the new updates. It's always cool to play around with the new mechanics and new features. So I believe this area over here is the right location that I am going to be building this. So we might have to do a little bit of digging and get this going. But I'm going to get a little bit of this stuff prepared, and then we'll be back to start working on this farm. Alright, so I done a little bit of resource collecting. I've just got a very much the starting bits to this. This is definitely not all the resources. I'm going to need a whole bunch more stuff in order to make this whole thing work. But I'm going to start with the furnace array. So like I mentioned before, this is kind of going to be a two-part farm. So the furnace array smeltery is going to be in the back here on this level, and then in the front here we're gonna have a kelp farm that's gonna basically power the furnace array. And I wanted to do the kelp farm in the front here because I kind of want to decorate the front of this a little bit and make it look kind of cool, so you can actually watch from the front of the base. So I plan on having 2 columns right in these 2 areas here, where you can see I got these holes dug out that'll go up into the ceiling here as well. And these will be kind of tall columns that you'll actually be able to see the sugarcane grow and then get knocked down and whatever. And I want to have the input in the center of here. You'll be able to throw your items in here, and you'll see the harvested stuff get raised up these columns as it gets chopped down, but you'll be able to throw your actual items you want to smelt into a water column here in the center, and that'll shoot up and go into the smelter in the back there. And then we'll have to do an output or collection zone of some type. I don't know if we plan on having a storage system or not, but that might be another option too, is have it sent out to the storage location. So basically what we're going to do in the back here, I plan on having 22 furnaces in this array. And I think I might have to dig a little bit further out towards the back here, but I think I want to do it just kind of in a straight line, so that, well, I think we'll do it in kind of a U shape. So I want to give a little bit of space between these and where this is going to start, so I have a little bit of space to do some redstone and things like that. But let's see, if we're going to have 22 of them, we need to have probably... let's see, maybe if we start, we can always dig back further. So if we do them like this, maybe 1 2 3 4 5, if we do maybe 6 like that, and then, well, I guess I probably want those to be more like this height, right? So I probably want these to be up at this level here. I think that way we can get hoppers underneath them. And this might get rearranged a little bit as we go here, but I'm just going to try to get this kind of laid out so you guys understand kind of what I'm working with, and then I'll get a bunch of this done. Probably off camera we'll get more of this complete. 1 2 3 4 5. This is going to need to be a lot bigger, isn't it? How much space do I really want to use? I want to leave some of that. Okay, so let's see, we got 1 2 3 4 5. I think we could do, if we had a row there, so we're gonna have to push this back further yet, I think. Let's actually take this and we'll mirror this way, as I want to try to keep this, somewhat symmetric at least, so it's a little bit organized and neat, even though no one's really gonna see this portion of it. It makes me feel better if everything is more, lined up and all that. So we got 1 2 3 4 5. So we got 12 spaces here, or 12 furnaces left. Actually, I had 26, I think. Let's see, how many do we have here? 1 2 3 4 5 5. Oh crap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got 8 over here is 16, I believe. If I can do math. So we get 16. We want to do 20, 22, or 21. So if we do 16, if we add 5 more here, actually that won't be too bad. 21 should be okay. So the reason I'm going with 22, I'll explain a little bit in more detail later. Once we get into the loading mechanism part, it'll make a little bit more sense why I want to do that number of furnaces. But yeah, that's kind of the setup we're going with here. And now we're going to need a lot of hoppers for this whole operation, and I'm not sure where I want the output of this to be. Basically, we need 1 hopper to pull items out of the bottom of these furnaces after they're done being smelted. We need 1 hopper line to input fuel into the back of these furnaces, and 1 hopper line to input items into the top. So the items we want to smelt will go in the top. Actually, these we could do in the middle, I think. Does that work if I put... Do I have anything that I can smelt in there? Like that. Goes in the bottom. Perfect. So we can do fuel there. And then we'll do output here. So basically you input whatever you want to smelt into the top of this thing. We'll go along a minecart track around the whole outside of the top row. And then we'll do another one for the front of these. We'll go all the way around each one of these like this. And then we'll do another row for... the ones along the bottom. So I'm gonna get some more work done on this thing, and then we'll come back with you guys with a little bit of an update. But I've got a lot more resources to gather yet, so I'm gonna get a little bit more work done, and then we'll be right back. All right, everybody, lots of progress has been made since the last cut here. I've got pretty much the entire smeltery area all built up here, so I'm gonna give you a little bit of a run through on what we got going on here. It took me quite a while to get the materials we needed to actually build this section here. I did put up a little bit of a spoiler wall here because it is the next day since I started working on this video, and I don't want anyone to see it until it's all finished up. So we got that done. I ended up actually having to buy some supplies, so I bought a bunch of iron from someone else on the server named Killer Trim, I believe. Killer's Trim. Not sure if I'm pronouncing it right or not, but thank you very much to them for selling me a bunch of irons. We had to have a ton of hoppers, and they were very expensive. Probably like 6 stacks of iron or so went into all the hoppers and stuff in this area. So, and then for our minecart loading systems up here, we needed a few slime balls, and we managed to get those from Norlit, maybe. So thank you very much to those two for helping me out. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your names right, but they definitely helped us out. That's one of the awesome things about this server. There is a lot of really awesome people here to help you out and you know, help you get supplies and that kind of stuff. All right, so let's just let's see, where should I start? So basically, I'll go from this side first, and basically you could just see we got the ring of furnaces here that we laid down in the previous cut, and then we've got a hopper line that goes along the top of each furnace to input the items that need to be smelted. We've got another line across the back side here, you can see, for the fuel that needs to go into each furnace. We got all these rails powered up so they're nice and fast. And then we've also got a line of hoppers coming out of the bottom of each of these furnaces, which ends up in the back over here. We've got a little area where all these items will end up coming out of. So right now we just got that coming into a hopper, and we'll send those out of there once we get everything else all finished up. And then we have the 2 input lines up at the top here. So what we've got going on up here is we've got 2 of these systems, and I believe these are the ones I said I would explain in a little bit more detail. And now is the time for more detail. So if you're interested in knowing how these work, basically, oh, this one's gonna actually need another hopper. So let's show you on this one what's going on. So basically, our items are gonna come in from up here. From wherever our input is. We'll have to work on the input after we get this finished up. But the items will come in to here and go into this this minecart, or it's actually a hopper minecart, and that's sitting right now on a detector rail, so we can pull a comparator signal off of that. And now how this works is once you get, as you can see, there's a few items in there now. It goes to power 1 on the redstone. If we get up to 23 items, I believe it is in here, which is the reason I tried to pick 23 furnaces, which I think I only have 21, so we'll have a few leftovers, but that should be okay. Once we get to 23, this will go to power 2, which will then activate, well, deactivate, I suppose, this piston, because I've got that inverted over there, and raise this piston up here and send the minecart off, so it should be able to do a lap, and then once the minecart's gone, it should push this back down, so when this gets back here, it should stop. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and put in, I believe it's 23. We should see it take off right away. Boom, there it goes, and it'll send that off, and it'll put should put one item in every one of the furnaces. Every hopper should pull one item in, and then it comes back and stops. Perfect. And then what we need to do with this side is we'll go ahead and put our fuel in this side. So we'll just throw the whole thing in there because that should work. That'll send that one off, and that will go ahead, and as you can see down here, it lights up each one of these hoppers, or furnaces I should say, and that should go back and stop. Perfect. Okay, so yeah, this is the first time I've actually tried this out, like I had mentioned. So I guess, yeah, if we had enough, it should actually put two in every spot. So oh, why did these ones not get anything in there, or are they already finished? Those ones might have already been finished because we, yeah, I think it might actually be that fast. So let's see if we got those items coming out the back of here. So there we go, just like that, we got 23 stone. So that was actually super quick. So we should actually see, maybe I'll time it and see how long it can do an entire stack. But super quick, super efficient. So we're gonna build the kelp farm here now and pump that into the rest of this system so we can fire this up with kelp. And I got a bunch more work to do in the front of here, so I'm gonna get a bunch more work done and we'll do another big jump cut here. Alright guys, and there we have it. We've got the kelp farm pretty much all finished up here. The only thing I have not quite figured out yet is the output. I don't quite have that finalized. I'm trying to find a good spot here, you know, to bring the items that you want to smelt back to whoever puts them in here, kind of somewhere near the beginning. But we might just have a spot where we run them into another storage or something else along the side here. We haven't really got any of the rest of this base main area down here done yet, so maybe I'll see if Wags and ISO have any good ideas on where they'd like to have these items go after they're stored. But I just went with kind of a simple thing on the front here. Some of these blocks might get switched up a little bit, but we've got our two kelp towers here growing on each side. And basically how this works is you just take your items you want to smelt, you toss them in this water fountain here, and these get shot up into the air. And then we'll go into the back here. This is kind of a mess back here, but I'll kind of give you a little bit of an idea of how this works. Hopefully I can explain it. So let's see if we can get up to the top here. We'll start from there. So up here, the let's see if I can get over this way maybe. So the items come up through this area right here. Let's just take a peek in here. As you can see, the bubble column shoots up there, and all these items get shot up there, or the kelp also gets pushed in from the top here once it gets harvested. So how that works is I've got a couple of observers here. Let's cover this up before we leave. We've got some observers on this side here, which have this line that runs all the way down to the bottom, with a few pistons at the bottom that break the kelp off from underneath. Once, oops, there we go. Down here, once the kelp grows all the way up, this breaks it off just at the bottom there, allowing it to continue to grow but harvest the rest of the stuff from the top. So once that is done, all of those items that either get placed in or from the kelp harvest will come through this hopper line up here. And I have a couple of item sorters there, if we can take a look. So I've got these two filters here for the dried kelp blocks, which we're going to use mainly to fuel this system, as well as coal here as just kind of a secondary. I don't have this one hooked up quite yet to the chest, but this is the input chest that feeds the fuel line. So if you put the kelp blocks or coal into the system from the same input that you would put other blocks, that'll go and sort it out and feed into the fuel line. And then everything else will go this other direction here, which feeds into the input line. So stuff you throw in, like the stuff I just threw in here, we'll get into this minecart. And like I mentioned before, this minecart won't take off until there's 23 items in the minecart. So there's a little bit of, a few items that'll get queued up in between smelts with these items here, but it shouldn't really be too big of a problem because we want to try to smelt a bunch of items with this system. So if you just want a few of them, they might get stuck in there. And then I showed you this whole smeltery system, and then right now we just have the output coming out the back here. So the items that we smelt will come out in this chest for now. I do plan on redirecting that, like I mentioned a little bit earlier. I just don't know quite where that's going to be located yet. So yeah, that's basically our kelp farm smeltery area as of right now. So we're going to try to smelt a bunch of kelp up, and then once that comes out the back of here, I want to craft those all up into the kelp blocks and throw them back into the front of the system here. And we can just throw them in here and use them for fuel to get the rest of this going. So hopefully this stuff will give us lots of kelp to power the system, and might have to expand on the kelp a little bit in the future in order to keep that sustaining itself. But looks kind of cool from the front. You can't really tell that it's a smeltery, but yeah, you can just throw your items in here into this water fountain, whatever column, and they shoot up into there, take off to get smelted, which I think is pretty cool. Maybe we can add like a light or something on the front here too. It tells you, when your stuff is smelting or whatever. We can always add some stuff in the future, but I think it's pretty cool for now. So another thing I'd like to do in the future, which we'll probably work on in another episode, is I think I would like to work on making this furnace array something that you can something that I can come in back here and get XP from as well. So maybe we'll try to work on something with that in the future, but I think that that'll be another project. So this actually turned out to be quite a larger project than I was originally planning. So it took me a long time to gather up all the resources and come up with the designs for this. This is just something I came up with kind of on my own. So that's the way I like to do things. I like to just come up with stuff on my own. So I think it's a pretty cool little setup here. It's looks pretty cool from the front. There's a lot going on in the back. It's kind of messy, but yeah, that's what we've got for our kelp farm and smeltery. But that's going to be all the time I got for today's video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave a like on the video if you did enjoy it, and subscribe to the channel if you have not done that already. There's should be some new videos coming up soon, and lots of other cool stuff. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.